I am not going to start this by saying, yet. That is what most would expect. He's not as bad as Hitler, yet. Adolf Hitler was only as evil as the people willing to put his perverse plans and fantasies into action. Hitler would have been nothing but a winner and big mouth if not for the Great Depression and millions of Germans who found a voice in his race hate and delusions of grandeur. I am going to say something here that could get me cancelled in some of the more politically correct / reactionary circles, but Adolf Hitler wasn't as bad as Trump. I want to let this settle in so you can react internally and think, what? Has B lost his effing mind? No, I haven't. I know history. I know it well because I spend countless hours thinking about it, especially when I travel. I can't tell you how many hours I sat alone in Munich beer halls, reading books about the history of Nazi Germany while sipping on beer. Many of those places were actually where Hitler made speeches. Courtesy of Smugmug, this is the ceiling at Munich's famous Hofbrauhaus. When traveling to New Jersey for Christmas from Russia, I would choose a flight with a 10-hour layover in Munich. This would allow me to explore the city center, drink some beer, check out the Christmas market, and have breakfast and lunch. My second stop traditionally was the Hofbrauhaus at 9:50 a.m. The first one there at that hour, I sipped my Mass beer, Mass equals 1 liter, and downed fresh radishes. I would immerse myself in history by rereading books about Hitler's beer hall putsch. Here is what I am going to tell you about Hitler. He was a monster. He was a demon, and humankind would have been better served if a bullet had ended his life on the front in World War I. Adolf Hitler, who became the murderous tyrant after 1934, is worse than Donald Trump today, but Adolf Hitler, who deviously worked his magic over millions and was then democratically elected by the German people, was not as bad as Donald Trump is today. Trump has changed out Jews with immigrants, mostly Latinos, and he has articulated to his cult-like followers that there is a segment of the political opposition that is evil and needs to be punished. He has issued a call to action to his most dangerous and mentally unstable followers. When I win, they will pay. And if I don't win, they stole it again, and they must pay. Even Hitler, though, despite never winning a majority of the votes, never once claimed voter fraud. He reluctantly accepted the results, and continued pushing for more power. With his vote total falling in November 1932, he was strong and crafty enough to demand he be made chancellor. The powers that be, including many industrialists, thought they could better control him once they got him into the ruling party and granted him his wish. Hitler, though, then used a suspicious fire in the Reichstag building, similar to our Capitol building, to suspend the government, making himself the dictator and declaring martial law. German democracy was dead, and the Nazi Germany was on its way. When people get angry about the comparisons between Hitler and Trump, it's because they don't know history. They are thinking of Hitler in the bunker with Europe in ruins and 6 million European Jews genocide. The Hitler whose army slaughtered tens of millions of Russians and nearly wiped the city of Warsaw, Poland, off the face of the earth. They are informed enough to recall that before there was that Hitler, there was the one who held Trump-like rallies promising to rid Germany of the vermin responsible for making the country weak. He vowed to make Germany great again. He vowed that Germany would only be for Germany. Does any of this sound familiar? Hitler also had an impressive list of apologists for his behavior. The establishment back then also reasoned that he was just being hyperbolic to gain power. Once he got into the power, though, they were sure he would calm down. The thing is, in a way similar to Trump, Hitler lied uncontrollably. He just made shit up and let it fly. Grievance after grievance flew from his lips, and they landed with millions of Germans who had been unable to accept Germany's defeat in World War I. They failed to accept that Germany was a weakened nation and were forced to cower before France and Great Britain, according to the Treaty of Versailles, A proud nation looked for guilty parties, and they found them in the Jews. Who do idiots blame? Republicans are out these days shamelessly playing down the Madison Square Garden debacle. Hillary Clinton was right. It resembled the very best of the Nuremberg rallies. The Speaker of the House is telling the world that the race hate on display Sunday in New York City was just in good fun. J.D. Vance is telling us all to get a sense of humor. Yes, Donald Trump is as bad as Hitler, and, at this stage of his development, maybe even worse.